It's the most popular houseplant of them all. Let's talk about philodendron. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan and this is Bane's Botanicals. Today we're going to be talking about philodendron. Some of you have probably been waiting a long time for this video just because I've been doing them alphabetically and it's taken us a while to get to the P's, but here we are. I actually have more philodendron species than any other genus in my house right now. So it's not an understatement to say that it's really easy to get swept up in the philodendron hype just because there are so many different types. Not just species, but different cultivars and color variations and all kinds of different variegations and everything. There is literally a philodendron for anybody's taste. And I would venture to say that anybody who has a houseplant collection probably has at least one of these plants. Maybe not the ones I have, but like just a philodendron of some type. So I thought we'd go through some of the ones that I have just for fun, and we'll kind of talk about the care and everything. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and do this. Here is the taxonomy information for philodendron. So we are in the family Aeraceae. This is an aeroid, just like a lot of our other really popular houseplants, Spathiphyllum, Epipremnum, Aglaonema, Alocasia, the other ones that I always forget, but that are also aeroids. Rhaphidophora. I know there's more. Anyway, where were we going with that? Yeah, so philodendron, let's just start with, which one? Let's just start with the one that's right in front of me. This is a Philodendron hederaceum. It's also called a heartleaf philodendron, and this particular one I believe is called lemon lime just because of its beautiful kind of yellow-green leaves. And what's kind of cool about this one, for me in particular, I've got it sitting under a grow light and it's doing really well, but I have noticed that because it's sitting under such bright light that some of the new growth is actually coming in orange. And I haven't always seen this, but I've kind of noticed it more as I've given it more light. So that's really kind of a nice contrast. And philodendrons, a lot of philodendrons come in a variety of colors. Oh, I just felt a root on the bottom of this coming out of the pot, so it's probably about ready to be repotted. But yeah, it's doing really well. Philodendron hederaceum is probably the easiest plant. Nah, probably the second easiest plant you can own. It's probably the easiest tropical plant for sure, but I think that the X Sansevieria Dracaena wins out just because it's so easy. But for tropicals, I've never had an issue with Philodendron hederaceum just because it is so easy. The leaves are really gorgeous. It has a daintier look to it, I think, than Epipremnum. Epipremnum is a little bit more rigid, and I don't know, just something about this seems just sort of like, I don't know, like I said, dainty is kind of a good word for it. But along those same lines, I do have here if I can get it out, we have a regular Philodendron hederaceum. This is just the green version. Beautiful. Look at this tangle. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it is so easy to end up with this big mess of leaves just like this. And I've just got this one hanging off of my shelves back here, just kind of cascading down the corner of one of the shelves, and it just won't stop growing. And you know what? I'm fine with that. But the thing is, you can take cuttings off of these very easily and water propagate them and then just end up with a bunch of new plants. These are very good candidates for that. And they will get so long. This one does have a little bit of like leggier growth. If you guys can kind of see how big those internodes are. An internode is the space between the nodes, and the node is where the leaf comes out. So in the wintertime, you'll notice that a lot of the growth will get kind of leggy just because of the lack of light. But yeah, this is an excellent plant for beginners if you want something that just kind of trails and is just really gorgeous. Along the same line, we do also have the Brazil philodendron, which is just like this, but it has a nice yellow stripe down the center. I'm sure you guys have seen those. There is also the Micans, which has a darker green leaf that's very velvety. They tend to be a little bit more finicky. I don't think that they grow quite as well, at least for me personally. But yeah. And then there's also the Philodendron brandy. I know that's not the species name, but it's called the brandy. And it has leaves kind of like this, only they have beautiful like silver splashes on them. Those also, in my experience, don't tend to do as well, but they are still really nice plants. I think for trailing philodendrons, that's kind of your heavy hitters. Those are the main ones in like the regular houseplant market. There are other ones, obviously, but let me see how I'm going to get this stuff out of the way now. Let's do this. We're going to go like this, and we're going to put that right here. Now let's go with the one that's next to me. This is a Philodendron golden violin, and you can kind of see why it has that name, just because it does have these sort of violin-shaped leaves. And they are a beautiful shade of yellow, similar to that lemon lime heteroecium. These are very nice. Now we're getting into the philodendrons that are, they call them self-heading, which basically just means that they are more or less upright. Some of them you have to stake up after a while. Some of them you can just kind of let them do their thing and they're fine. But yes, this is also just a very gorgeous plant. It was one that I saw and I'm like, I already have too many philodendrons, but I'm like, I think I want this one. I think I'm kind of into it. So, similar leaves to a Florida ghost. If you guys have ever heard of a Florida green or a Florida ghost philodendron, not quite the same shape, but similar. Let's move that out of the way. Let's grab this one. This is a philodendron ring of fire. And it gets that name just because the leaves, if you guys can see, they do have this kind of splash of orange on the leaves, kind of a rusty copper kind of look. And the more light you give it, like I haven't looked at this one closely in a while, but I'm just looking at some of these leaves, how beautiful they are. And that's because I've had this sitting directly under a grow light. It's not right on it, the light's probably about like right here. So it's getting a pretty good amount of light, and it really brings out those vibrant colors more. When it comes to variegated plants in general, you want to give them a little more light, because otherwise that variegation will revert and you won't have as pretty of leaves if you're into variegation. As I touch this, I notice it's just a little bit loose. As this gets a little bit bigger, there's a good chance that I'll probably brace this with like a stake of some sort so that it can remain stable. I don't want it to break or anything. But yeah, another really pretty plant, and just the leaf shape also, how that's kind of got those serrated leaves, the serrated margins I should say. Yeah, just also a really, really fantastic plant. Let's go. You guys saw this one recently if you're following me live, but this is the Philodendron, you guys, I can't say the name, aabo poense. I'm going to put it on the bottom anyway, but this is the one that has the really long, look at those long leaves. That is so crazy. I'm blown away every time I touch this plant, and I just look at how long these leaves are. Like, they're just so pretty. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just kind of breathtaking. I will say that it's kind of hard to see maybe in the light, but they do kind of have a silver kind of sheen to them. It's hard to explain unless you're looking right at it, but they do have a splash of silver. Not as much as a silver sword philodendron, which also are really nice, but yeah. And it does have some new growth coming up in the middle there. It's really starting to get kind of unwieldy, but I'm okay with it. I really like this one a lot. I know that after I make this video, I am going to try to get rid of some of these philodendrons just because I know I have too many, but that would probably be one that I would keep. This is a Philodendron Summer Glory, and the Summer Glory, I mean, you guys, look at how long these leaves have gotten on this thing. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. The Summer Glory is actually a hybrid philodendron between Philodendron gloriosum, which has absolutely gorgeous big leaves with like beautiful silver venation. Gloriosum might be one of my favorites. I don't actually have one just because they do. I just found a piece of cat hair on me. They do get so big that you kind of have to have something for them to climb on. No. I'm thinking of a different one. Gloriosum is the one that kind of grows sideways. So you kind of run into a problem of like needing to prune them and like take care of them, because of course they can't just keep growing sideways in their pot, right? You have to eventually do something about that. So because of that, I ended up getting rid of mine. I kind of regret it now. I kind of feel like I should just get one again because I love it so much. But anyway, this is a hybrid between Philodendron gloriosum and I think it's Macaulay's finale. But also just very, very, really big, pretty leaves that are just very full, heart-shaped, and I mean, this one is getting really unwieldy. I have it sitting on my kitchen counter right now, and these leaves that are extra long are just kind of jutting out into the kitchen, and I know that I probably just need to do something about it, but I don't know if I'll keep this one or not. And I only say that because I really kind of want the gloriosum again. But let's see. This is the Philodendron torum. You guys may have seen this one in an earlier video I did, but if you notice, it has gotten a lot bigger since then. And this is a very unique philodendron just because it's almost skeletal. Like the leaves, I mean, the leaves look like this is where the veins should be, like it's missing something somehow. But I was initially worried about this one just because I thought, well, it looks kind of dainty, maybe a little too delicate that maybe it won't do well. But the secret about philodendrons is that most of them do well, no matter what. Like, there are definitely easier philodendrons than others, but in general, if it's a philodendron, you're going to be okay. Like, just do your normal plant care maintenance, and it should be successful. I'm just kind of examining this just a little bit. I'm noticing this frond, well, they're not fronds, they're leaves, but this leaf is a little yellow. It may be ready to drop that one, but yeah, this is just another really cool plant. Like, just something that you don't really see very often in this shape. So, I don't know. Do I want to get rid of any of my philodendrons? I'm actually like, I actually like a lot of them so much that I don't even think I want to get rid of any of them. I think I've grabbed all of them. I was kind of going through my racks and everything, trying to make sure that I grabbed all of them. I don't think I missed any of them, but some of the ones that we didn't talk about that are kind of heavy hitters would be like, there's the whole spectrum of color, like the White Knight, the Pink Princess, the Imperial Red, Prince of Orange, Moonlight, I think it's called Moonlight, the yellow one. What are some other ones? There are so many philodendrons, I can't even list them all, but I'm trying to think of the ones that I see when I go out and about that are always there. I know I've probably missed a big one, but yeah. Please drop in some philodendron recommendations. Not for me, I don't need any more, but like just for other people. It is fun to look at like different plants within this genus just because they are so different from each other. I mean, look at all the ones I've showed you, and the only ones that are really similar to each other were the two heteroeciums because of course they're the same species. But yeah, what is one that I've missed? We did Silver Sword and we did, I don't know. You guys will let me know. But that's not the whole video. Oh yeah, the care. So as far as light goes, philodendrons like bright indirect light. They don't need full sun. They don't want full sun. That'll burn them. But you can get away with medium light. But if it's variegated, you know, you might lose some of that variegation. But they do like bright indirect light. Watering, let them dry out. Don't let them stay dry for too long because, you know, you'll start to see browning, but definitely let them dry all the way out, and then just soak them. Make sure that you soak them down to the roots and everything. Let the water flow out of the bottom of the pot and everything, just to make sure they get a good drink. I will say that at the moment I need to water, and it's been about a week and a half. And even though like I'm touching some of these and they are dry, like they're dry, they need to be watered, they're ready, but you notice that they're not really wilting. None of the ones I showed you really have brown tips or anything, or any signs that they're under duress. So these can actually go for a little bit without being watered. So don't baby them as far as watering too much, because they can be prone to root rot just because they're aeroids, and aeroids don't like to sit in water. So make sure you let them dry out. They'll be okay. Where are we at? Soil. Just any houseplant soil is really good. If you want to get fancy, you can get like a regular houseplant mix and crumble up some orchid bark into it, just so that it has a little bit more of that kind of room to breathe, a little bit faster draining. That's kind of a traditional aeroid mix, is kind of having that bark mixed in with it, just so that they don't get so compacted. But you don't have to do anything super fancy. I mean, some of these I've done that with, some of them I haven't, and they do just fine. Fertilizing, they like to be fertilized just because they do have a lot of foliage. These are not going to bloom indoors or anything, but they do like fertilizer. So just do it bi-weekly during the growing season, which is spring and summer and kind of autumn, and then during the dormant season, kind of late autumn, winter, early spring, just let them sit. Don't fertilize them. They do like to get a break from that. And during the winter, of course, make sure you water them less, because they're not using as much water, because there's not as much light, so they're not photosynthesizing as much. Sorry, that was kind of a mouthful. What else? Did we cover everything? Oh, humidity. They like humidity. They don't need humidity. I mean, it's maybe one of the finer leaved ones, like this torum, I would maybe do a little bit of extra humidity just to kind of compensate during the winter time. But they don't really need supplemental humidity. They do just fine. Similar to epipremnum. I mean, you don't really have to supplement humidity with them either. I think that might be it about Philodendron. This was a long video, and I knew it would be, because I had been putting off recording it because I knew it was going to be such a long video. You guys, I kind of want that gloriosum again. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know some other philodendron types or species that you guys like that I may have missed. Let me know some of your experiences with them as well. What's your favorite? What are some of your favorites? Like I said, if I had to pick a favorite, I mean, the green Philodendron hederaceum is such a classic, easy plant. It's hard not to love that. The long-leafed aabo poens or whatever that I showed you is great. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your likes and subscribes, and thank you for your comments. I look forward so much to seeing your guys, your comments and everything. And I make sure I set aside at least 30 minutes, you know, every couple of days to catch up on them, just so that I can interact with you guys, because I love that. That's my favorite part about this whole thing, is getting to interact with you guys, just because we're all just kind of plant nerds, and, you know, we're just kind of learning together and winging it, and, you know, get new plants, lose some plants. It's all part of this circle of plant life, I guess. But anyway, I will see you guys very soon, and until the next video, yes, thank you.